Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Mom.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Get
you got
in.
a pink car, huh?
I do.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. What's happening?
Nothing much. Put on your seatbelt.
Oh, yeah.
Start telling what's your name, how old are you,
Are we being recording right now?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, you're on it. I am Maz Jobrani. I'm a comedian.
I am not dangerous. I am Persian. I am Persian, like the cat. Meow.
I am 6 feet tall, although sometimes they tell me I'm 5'11". I was 5'11", and then I went to the doctor and they said you grew to 6, and I was like, really? And then now they told me I'm back to 5'11". So
What the hell?
I don't know what's going on.
Persian DNA.
DNA, baby.
Where do you live?
I live in Los Angeles.
Oh.
I'm currently on tour in Europe. As a stand-up comedian, you tour all over the world.
Yeah.
And you always try to come up with a new hour plus of material. So you go to the same places every like 2 years, and you have to have new material, because if you have old material, people come and they go, oh, I've seen that already, you know. And that's the curse of the stand-up comedian versus singers and musicians.
Yeah.
Musicians, people want to hear your old stuff.
Yeah.
Comedy, they want to see the new stuff. So since I live in LA and I have a family, when I'm on tour, I try to squeeze in as much as possible. So for example, this tour, I'm doing 14 shows in 17 nights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like almost every night, new city. Sometimes you look around, and no offense to the people of Denmark, but because Scandinavia, you know, there's a lot of blonde people. So sometimes I'll be in Sweden on stage, and I'll be like, wait a minute, am I in Copenhagen or am I in Stockholm?
Do you
Or wait a
really
minute, am I in
get that?
Oslo? Once in a while, because you're doing so many shows, listen, your days are very long. And so, like this time, for the first time, I'm doing Italy for the first time.
What?
I'm really excited. Years ago, I did Paris. I've been doing Paris now.
How was Paris?
Paris is fantastic. Such an international group. It's like Tunisians, Algerians, French, and Persians, and Arabs, and, you know.
Is that your core audience, like Middle Eastern, or is it?
No, I'm telling you, even like I just did Stockholm. I look out there and there was a bunch of Swedish people out there, and then like not a Swedish person married to a Middle Eastern person. It was just like two Swedes.
Yeah.
Or like I had in the front row, I had a guy, he was from Finland and his wife was Peruvian.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so I think social media exposes you to certain people that you have no idea. I had a show in San Jose recently. This Japanese lady was there with her mother, and like I don't even know how well they spoke English. Like the mother had a thick accent, you know, to the point where obviously she speaks English. She even came up to me afterwards. She goes, I bought your book, you know, I'm a big fan. I go, I never would have thought an old Japanese lady would be my fan. And then she goes, you know, I watch your comedy and we have so much in common with our cultures.
Yeah.
Japanese and Persians. I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. So you never know who's going to be your fan.
Why did you start doing stand-up?
Why did I start saying that? I was a big fan of Eddie Murphy's when I was a kid. I grew up in America. I was born in Iran.
Where in Iran?
In Tehran. And then I moved to... Tehruni. And then I moved to Northern California when I was 6 years old, right when the revolution was happening, 1978. And then I grew up in Northern California. But as a kid in America, I would watch Eddie Murphy, I would watch cartoons, and then Eddie Murphy was a superstar back then, like in the early 80s. And so I was like, oh, I like what he does. I want to be like him. When I went into junior high school, I would do musicals in school, like singing and dancing and stuff. And my directors and all the teachers would always say, oh, you're really good at this, you should do this. And then my immigrant Iranian parents would come, they would watch it, and then the director would tell my parents, hey, he's really good, he could do this professionally. And then they would say, oh, thank you. Then they get in the car, and my dad would be like, that bitch is crazy, you're not doing that.
They wanted you to be a doctor,
lawyer, engineer, something that is aberudar, like something that you know doesn't embarrass us.
Yeah.
Just immigrant parents, you know, whether they're Iranian or Indian or Chinese or Russian, they all have kind of.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because we come from this culture of, you know, they want something that has a little bit of stature, right? We have titles in our community. I think it's gotten better. Back then, it was a bigger deal. I mean, now a kid can be an influencer on TikTok and be a millionaire, you know?
Yeah.
What it is if you can find what it is that you love, go for it. And I think we're living in a world now where people have more access to doing that than back in the day.
Do you wish you were younger so you had the whole like internet, like the web? Because you know, like the new generation.
Yeah, not really. I don't care about like. It's more about like, you know, you hope to find a team of people that can help you edit, put it together. That's really what you need. You need a team to help a little bit. I have an editor that sends me, you know, clips. I have another person that helps me post a little bit, and it's just part of the game. It is exhausting, you know. I was telling another comedian, I said, you know, I got into this comedy because I wanted to be like Richard Pryor and George Carlin and Eddie Murphy and all the people that I saw as a kid. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be a comedian. But I said, now you have to be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Besides being a comedian, like I had to. Finally, one of the other younger comedians was like, you have to buy a camera. You got to get it all set up. So now at all of my shows, I set up my camera. I film my set in case I do something that is funny that I can put up.
Yeah.
That's become a second part of the job now.
If you weren't a comedian, what would be your second choice?
If I weren't a comedian, I want to be a rock star.
What?
Yeah, I think I have psychological issues. No, I would love to. I would love to be a rock star.
Really?
I love singing. And,
are you good at singing?
I'm pretty good at singing, yeah. And I don't know. There's actually a show that my friend does in Los Angeles. It's called the Goddamn Comedy Jam.
Yeah.
And comedians get to pick a song. We come out, we tell some jokes, and then we sing our song with a live band. And I've done it now, like, you know, 5-6 times, and it's one of my favorite shows to do. It's so much fun.
What?
Yeah, I've sang Phil Collins. I sang Police one time, Bob Seger. I sang the Bee Gees. Just songs that I know that I like. I'm like, yeah, I get to do that. So I would like to do that. And if not that, then professional soccer player. So now you see, I just want to be watched by people, basically. I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't like any of that shit.
Are you voting?
Yes, I already voted. I voted before I left because the elections are happening while I'm here.
Do you speak about who you're voting for?
Yeah, people know I hate Donald Trump, and I'm obviously voting for Kamala Harris. I despise the guy. I think he's a bad human being. I have friends that are Republicans. My own mother likes the guy. I've had discussions with her.
She likes Trump?
A lot of Iranians like Trump because Trump is good at saying he's going to do something and fooling people to think that it's just going to happen. So I think he convinced Iranians that he's going to get rid of the mullahs and the Islamic Republic and the regime, but he has no idea and no plan on how to do it. So a lot of Iranians think, oh, he's the guy who's going to free Iran.
Do you think Iran ever will be free?
I think if it happens, it has to happen from within. I think that, I would hope that as young people, you know, grow up, and currently we see, I think a lot of young people want their freedom. So I hope that they're able to get into positions of having an influence on that. And I hope that if Iran does become free, that it happens in a more peaceful way than in a violent way, you know.
Who's your favorite comedian?
My favorite comedian? That's a tough question. There's so many great comedians.
Not
I know. There's so many great comedians. First of all, I watch Stephen Colbert. He's got the, you know, late night with Stephen Colbert. I've actually been on there. He's a great guy. But I love watching him because he is political and he makes fun of Trump in the day's news in a way for me to be able to get the news in a funny way.
Yeah.
The fact that Jon Stewart is back, I've been watching him on a weekly basis. John Oliver I watch. Those are all political comedians. There's so many funny comedians out there.
It's funny because you only mention men. There is no women.
No, there's no women funny. There's no funny women at all. No. No, of course there's funny women. Of course there's funny women.
Tupac or Biggie?
Oh, God, they're both great. I mean, I love them both. I can't
You
really
have
choose.
to choose one.
I'm not going to choose. I am not going to get involved in this debate.
If your life was a movie, right?
Yeah.
What would be the intro song?
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Yeah!
I mean, it's not that, my life's not that dramatic. I don't think I can feel it coming. Actually, that'd be kind of cool. If you did In the Air Tonight, and it's me as a kid, leaving Iran, because we left in the middle of the night, really, like, because you had to leave super early to get to the airport back then. So they would pick you up at like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning and then take you to the airport, and it was dark.
Oh, you flew?
Did not take a donkey over Afghanistan. No, yeah, we flew.
We walked.
Oh, you walked over which
Turkey.
border? Oh, you walked to Turkey. Wow.
Yeah.
From where? From Tehran?
Yeah.
I tell people that, and whenever I talk about like the experience of others, like I have friends of mine who also like had to escape, and I go, people like had to like get on donkey back and go over the mountains. It's true. And so the privilege that people have, that they go, oh, I just, you know, I move wherever I want. I go, white privilege is real. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Cat Williams or Dave Chappelle?
Jeez, you keep asking these people. I mean, I love both of them. I would say that. Cat, to me, I did Friday After Next with Cat.
You did.
Yeah, I was in that. And Cat is just salt of the earth. I love Cat. He was nothing but good to me. Him, and Terry Crews were the new guys on that film. So we got to like hit it off. And I knew Cat from before, but then I got to know him there, and he's just been. Whenever I see him, it warms my heart, because like that was the film that blew him up, and we got to experience that together.
What's the dream? When have you reached the goal?
I mean, you always create a new goal when you reach it. I mean, I ultimately would love to have my own TV show,
like a TV series,
like a series that's like funny. I would like to have a series that's funny, maybe has some edge to it. And then ultimately, part of that is because I just feel like there's so many stories to be told. Part of that is because I would love to be able to call on some of my funny friends and put them in these positions, you know. And it's really hard to make a TV show. We've sold a few shows that never made it to air. And ultimately, you know, it would be great to just, like I said, create a show and just start doing it. It was just fun, because every day it's different. Stand-up is different because you're creating a 1-hour act, and then you're touring all over the world with it, and then you're putting it into a special, and then you're doing your next special. So you just keep doing that. I've done 7 or 8 of those now. But a TV show is like, it's an ongoing story that keeps evolving. So I feel like there's some show ideas that I've had that should have gone to air, but they didn't, and I'm looking for the next one.
One question.
Yes.
Is Diddy guilty?
I mean, I think so. From what I hear, I mean, sounds
it's
pretty bad.
It's a big thing right now, right?
Sounds like every day something new comes out. I'm like, ugh.
Have you been to a Diddy party?
No, I've never been. Let me put it to you this way. No, let me put it to you this way. I would not want to be him right now. Let's just put it that way. I don't think that it doesn't look good for him. I was telling somebody, I was like, geez, I wouldn't be surprised if he like took his own life or something, because it seems like every day it keeps piling on and on and on. I don't know what's going on. I just know that he's in jail right now. And, gosh.
Are you excited about tonight?
I am. I love Copenhagen. I was telling Tehran the last time we were here, Copenhagen was our last show of the tour. And I just remember having a good time with you guys. And I remember there was these 2 girls in the front that were from like, maybe Eritrea or Senegal or something. And it was just a cool, like, vibe. And there was some mixture. And I enjoyed you guys.
You do?
Yeah.
And you are the funniest guy, like one of the funniest guys, you know, like Persian. The things that you can do, not a lot of people can do.
I love you. I appreciate that.
And I always come whenever you were in Copenhagen. You're just different than some of the other Iranians.
Well, listen, I appreciate you for saying that. I appreciate you for coming. You know, stand-up comedy is a two-way street. This really was emphasized to me when the pandemic happened. Because when the pandemic happened, I saw a clip of, I think it was John Legend, who put the camera on Instagram, went live and was playing, and people were commenting, oh, this is great, this is great. And then he said, now I'm playing this song, now I'm playing that song. And I was so jealous of him. I go, musician can sit there and just play, and then you play your next song. But comedians, we need to have you laugh. We need to have people like you who go, I'm a fan, I want to have a good time, come to the show, give us the love. So when I go da 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 da, I go ha ha ha, da 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 da, ha ha ha. And so I first started doing some Instagram lives during the pandemic, and I would say da 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 da, and there was no ha 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 because you can't hear it, and it was driving me nuts. And I was like, oh my god, this is horrible.
I need some ha ha ha.
Yeah, we learned early on, and then we started doing Zoom shows. And then during the Zoom shows, we would say, we need 10 people to unmute because we need to hear the laughs. They would unmute, they would laugh, and it would help. So when you say what you said, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming, and I appreciate you being a good comedy fan. You're clearly a fan of comedy, which is important. Yeah,
I truly am. And I just want to say thank you for taking your time.
Yeah.
It was last minute. You are a star. I freaking love the fact that you wanted to take a ride with me in the pink taxi. I showed you a little of Copenhagen, even though we were talking.
You got to do pink taxi. When you're in Copenhagen, do pink taxi.
It's been a pleasure, Maz. I promised you that you will be back before 2. It's before 2.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ellie. Take care. Khoda Hafiz. See you later. How much do I pay? What's the meter? You
I
need a
turned
meter.
off the meter. Do you know
funny.
I have people that come in as guests and they think they have to pay me?
That's funny.
They're like, so what's... I'm like, no. It's a show. You're telling your story.
Yeah.
Mas,
thank you, Ali June. I'm going to grab my stuff from the back. Merci. Have a great day. I hope you pick up a lot of rides today and make some good money. And you know what? Fuck Uber. Fuck the Lyft. This is the best one.
Pink taxi.
Pink taxi. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
دست شما درد نکنه.
Merci.